going to review the principles of design that you learned about in Miss Long's class. And we're going to be using these to design our poster for the engineering fair. So just to review, there are 6 principles that we're going to focus on: emphasis, unity, movement, repetition, contrast, and balance. Emphasis, if you remember, is about attracting a person's attention. So in this, what you should be attracted to is the principles design in the middle here. You can achieve that by using contrast, the colors, where you place it, and how you move a person's eye through your poster. Next, unity means all the elements working together. This is really important in the poster, okay? People tend to want to put lots of different colors in, choose a zillion different text fonts and sizes. But if you can come up with a consistent pattern throughout, then your poster will look like it's unified. So we can do this with organization, similar shapes. You're going to see that in the example I'll show you. Common patterns, and then effective use of space and color. Sorry, guys. Movement. Movement, we're basically going to move through the way we set up our poster. We're going to move people's eyes through it to make sure that they see all the elements. So you can do that by change in direction, change in light and dark, overlapping, repetition. This pawn looks like it's going to be moving this way. Repetition, this goes back to how we create unity, is you are going to repeat colors, shapes, and lines throughout your poster to make it appear as if it's a consistent piece. Contrast, those of you who picked, for example, red and green, you're going to use those as contrasting colors, and the idea is not to overwhelm with both of those colors, but to use one just to bring out the contrast of the other. Value, color, shape, and texture can be used to create contrast. Balance, this is a little unbalanced. Balance, we'll talk about the rule of thirds, but you can have things that are asymmetrical, radial balance. Basically, balance is that it looks like everything in the picture belongs, and let's look at rule of thirds to get a better idea. So the rule of thirds, if you take your drawing or your poster and you cut it into thirds this way, lengthways, and then you cut it horizontally, okay, then you end up with 9 different sections. Well, where these sections intersect are actually where our eyes go first on the page. And in particular, 41% of eye movement will start here. This is another hot spot, and then this, and finally your right-hand corner. So when you're placing things in your poster, if you can put them at the intersections, that's going to make things be more likely to be seen, and more important on the left, and top left is the most important. Here's a couple examples of rule of thirds. This one, they actually break it up. Okay. Here you'll notice that all the faces are on the intersection, and here the bottle, where the bottle intersects, is also following the rule of thirds. So we're going to try to keep that in mind as we go through this. Let me show you my poster really quickly. Oops. Okay, so if you look at my poster, okay, actually let's do this. Let's put the poster here and excuse me again. Let's just look at each of these. So, emphasis. Okay, my emphasis, I'm trying to draw your attention to Teacher Toolkit. If we look at the rule of thirds, this is kind of in that top left-hand corner. I tried to use unity by using repetition. So you'll notice identify the problem, optimize the design, and develop a solution are all the same font color and the font size, the font style, and the background is all red. So this is some consistent repetition throughout. You'll also know repetition in my heading. So prototype, constraints, criteria, procedure, prototype feedback, final product. And those are all, again, the same font. And you'll notice, again, initial, sewing, measuring, all a similar, not even similar, the same color and font style. So that's one way I use repetition. Now balance, this part looks really well balanced to me. Things are going to spread out and your eyes kind of move through the document, but I'm not sure here. I've actually asked Ms. Long for a little bit of feedback on this part because I feel like this space is a little bit bothersome. So I'm going to be looking into how I can make that a little bit better balanced. In terms of contrast, one thing I do is I outline my graphs in red. I can teach you guys how to do some of these, some of those types of things later on. But so this is basically what we're hoping to achieve.